Welcome to the Perspective Podcast. Josue here. As you guys probably already know, from the Democratic Republic of Congo. I don't know what that was with my hands, but we'll let it continue. I attended the Oral Roberts University. You guys have heard me preach at times, but we're not here to talk about that. To my right, we have Chase Brown. He was born in Texas. He attended the University of North Texas. He's an aspiring philanthropic creative. As you guys already know by now, if you've been following us for a period of time, he loves very long walks on the beach. Why that is, I absolutely have no idea. But I'm hoping we're able to discuss that in today's podcast. So without further ado, Chase Brown, how you doing?
Doing very well, man.
Yeah.
We can see after we get done with this podcast, we'll have 2 hours till dinner.
Yeah.
Maybe we can make a quick trip to the beach. We only have one car. So it'd have to be a we unless you want to just be walking around here.
That's fine.
Granted, this is a good area to kind of walk around. You know, there's a pretty good pizza spot, Prince Street, and some other restaurants.
I've heard.
Can see, but doing well. How are you, Mr. Red Beanie?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I got a red beanie on today. For those of you that can't see it, hopefully it's very bright for those that can see it on the cam. I'm doing good, having a good day. Out here in Cali, enjoying the mountains, the views. I'm never going to climb it, but I will look from a distance. So that's what I came to do. Without further ado, we do have a very special guest on with us today. As you guys already know, when the cameras come out, it typically means we have a star among us. And today we had to come to Hollywood to find a big star.
That's 2 years in the works.
Yeah, 2 years in the works. We somehow were able to make it happen. Our manager spoke to his manager, and somehow
his manager, Chaz Smith.
Yeah, his manager, Chaz Smith. Yeah. Maybe you guys have heard of him. I don't know. But let me introduce him because I get paid by our sponsors to introduce him and say all these nice things about him. So here goes nothing. 5 times he was nominated for his hair. That's a great accomplishment. So
amazing.
I hope that's something that he's very proud of. 4-time. People have spoke about, the great job that he did, while he was working at Radio Disney. He probably has never done that, but we're going to go with it anyways. 3
That's
times.
against my contract. I can't be talking about Disney right now.
We're going to take that part out. It's against his contract.
Edit that.
We're going to edit that out. 3 times, let's see. 3 times, we can call him Mr. L.A.
Yeah,
Mr. L.A. Yeah, he was nominated.
LA local at this point.
LA local.
Knows how to get around LA like the back of his hand.
Knows
all the parking spots.
Yeah. No, I'm the most un-LA person, but I've been living here for like 5 years.
He's working on it.
But
2 times.
But I don't say Cali. That's the thing. So in California, us natives, we don't say Cali.
Okay.
So just kind of giving you a little heads up.
So what do you say?
You say like SoCal, you say North Cal.
Okay. NorCal, SoCal?
Yeah.
So you guys don't claim the whole state, just
Well, you just don't say Cali. It's just, what do you, Chaz? I know you're behind the scenes. Like LA or... Yeah, LA or OC, yeah.
Okay.
Just the area, I guess.
Noted.
We represent.
Yeah, I guess I'll try to remember that, LA. 2 times, you guys probably can't tell right now because you're on the camera, maybe you're listening to it. He's actually been nominated. This is strange, but he's been nominated for his feet, which is why he has them out right now. Don't ask me why I know that, but it's just something that I heard. Don't zoom in on his feet. Please don't do that.
I did do some feet modeling. I really did. Did you actually do you know that?
I literally just.
Our sponsors did the research.
Yeah, I did know that.
He did the research.
Yes, our sponsors got with their sponsors and managers, and now we're here. One time.
I did a catalog for Javianas. So
okay, we're gonna get into all that. One time, he's a child of God. He loves Jesus.
True.
He loves people. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause. I can't say your last name to save my life.
Literally,
it's so easy.
Rohr.
Rohr.
You got this.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Jake.
Rohr.
English isn't my
just
first
like
name.
A lion roar.
Yeah, for sure.
Just like
a lion roar.
Like a lion roar. Okay, that's cool. Jake, how you doing? Welcome.
Let's go.
Round of applause.
Good to see y'all.
Yeah. How you doing?
I'm good. Blessed. Guys, I've been doing so much this week, honestly. So, yeah, it's been really awesome.
First key question.
Yes.
Why are you not in your scrubs right now?
Oh,
Come on, man. Yeah. You knew this had to be coming.
So I was telling him I was going to come up in my scrubs, but I don't know, I just thought to myself, I was like, I don't want to go to this restaurant because we're going to go eat after this. I didn't want to go to the restaurant and have scrubs on, So, yeah. Also, they were a little sweaty too, so I wasn't sure.
I'm not going to lie to you. The whole time I thought you said you were in a pink dress. And so I was like, you know what? We're in Cali. If he wants to show up in a pink dress, I guess. You guys said scrubs. I heard pink dress. So that's why I was like, all right. I mean, I guess. I was like, it's going to be a podcast. We're going to make it work. But okay.
Just wait. Feel free to put your foot down next time.
Yeah.
So the reason...
I was like, hey, listen.
So the reason why the whole thing with the scrubs is actually because I do this thing on TikTok where I guess I'm a TikToker now. I don't even know what is this. But anyways, so I do this thing for this brand. It's a scrub brand, and we highlight healthcare workers, and it's really awesome. We ask them like really just important questions, but also we kind of have a little fun with it too. We ask like what the grossest thing, which our recent video hit like 10 million views and it's still going. Kind of crazy. One of those things where I'm just like, how can you even fathom that many views? But so it's been fun.
Yeah. To be honest, with me not being on socials over the last 4 months, I haven't checked it out yet.
No, you're good. I still love you, man.
We need to talk about it at dinner.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, what's been going on in life, man? Like, what's the Lord been walking you through over the start of this year, over the last couple months? Just, what's been going on in the life of Jake?
Wow. I would definitely say that, like, I feel like I've recently have been seeing the harvest. So probably people don't know this, but like, so I actually came here. I came here just to visit Chaz, and I stayed. I literally stayed, and I've been out here for like 4 or 5 years. It was only supposed to be a weekend, and now I've been here, living here for 5 years. Insane. And we'll go into that story a little bit later because it's very, very pivotal on like literally how I got here, what I'm doing, everything like that. I'm so thankful for Chaz Smith, like for real, like brother in Christ, and literally just I see him as family. So, but anyway, so I came over here and there was just a lot of stuff that happened, but I actually lived in a garage for like 2 years when I was here in LA, and so I was like, you got to make it happen. It's like something that I was very passionate about. Was like, I know that the Lord has called me to do this, and so I was like, whatever that has to be done in Jesus' name, because of course people do stuff to get things and it's just not good. But this was like, in Jesus' name, I'm like, whatever I can do to be able to like do what I'm doing, that's what we're gonna do. And so pretty much, I'll go into the story. I should maybe go into the story. Okay. So it was really amazing just what God just pretty much did in this whole thing was that there was a moment one time, and this was about in like 2016 or whatever, and I remember I was like, I just feel like God is calling me to influence. I'm like, how am I supposed to do that? Like, I've tried so many times through social media. I used to actually go live like every single day on an app called You Now. And I kept on like just grinding and trying to do all this stuff to be able to like go viral and stuff like that, because I want to use all of whatever I have. I want to use it into the glory of God. Yeah. And so I'm like, all right, God, what do you mean by this? And so what was really cool was I think God really gave me a word. And the word was either you help the person who's doing it or you do it yourself. And so what happened, I was just scrolling down Instagram and Water's Not Wet came on. And I'm like, what? Who is this guy? And I remember seeing him on Vine and everything. And I looked into his bio and I'm like, whoa, this dude like is talking about Jesus. Like he really loves Jesus. Holy boy. What was it? I think it's like Slim Boy with a holy joy or something like that. And I was like, man, it's just so cool. Like he represents, and I talk about him all the time, just like on sets and stuff like that. It's just really cool how God is using this story on how I'm able to share. And so that's kind of what I do is I share my heart with people, with actors, models, and stuff like that. Yeah. But anyways, I was just scrolling through, and I seen it, and I was like, man, like, I would love to do what this guy's doing, And I'm like, how do I do this? And the only thing I can think of is, I guess I'm gonna send him a DM, And it's like, I kind of just seen it as like, it's just a shot in the air. And lo and behold, that shot in the air, it stuck. He responded to me and was like, hey, man, I don't need anything, but you could pray for me. And I was like, okay. And so I really took that to heart. And have you ever had something where it's like, there's something in you that you're like, I have to do this?
Yeah, bro.
I don't know why, but I have to do this. And like, God really put it on my heart to legit pray for him every single week. And so I did that. And it was crazy because those weeks, led into months. Those months, led into years. And so now we're like, then we met because it was like a year later. We met like in Dallas, which is cool. He had a layover. And I was like, dude, I would love to like meet and stuff. So we met at Chipotle. Sponsors by Chipotle. No,
Oh, goodness gracious. No, sponsored by Costa Vida, not Chipotle.
Yeah.
Let's get that right.
And
get it right.
And so what was really cool was, we just met it and stuff like that. And it was really interesting because I think in my mind at first, I was like, I'm thinking that I wanted to like do work with him and things like that. And what was amazing was God had something totally different. What was awesome was God made it where I was able to do those videos and then some, because me and Chaz have done many videos together. They also hit like millions of views, which is so awesome. But the best thing is God gave me a brother. God gave me a brother. And so it was really cool because as I came to LA, I knew that I needed like accountability. I knew that also like in this industry that I'm in, I know I needed somebody to like keep me accountable. And so Chaz, we've talked, and the craziest thing is we've been praying every day since 2000, like I feel like it was like 2016, 17 type thing. So it's been like close to like 6-7 years. It's been a long time, and we've still been praying for each other. And so, it's been a crazy journey. And that was a big part of the story. But I came here just to visit for about 2 years. Yeah. And I came here to
casual visit for 2 years.
So I know I came. Sorry. So I came to visit for a weekend, and now I've been here for like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And the journey's just been so insane of like God taking me through so many different obstacles. And I'm gonna let you guys talk because I probably could talk all day because it's like this is all of these is just constant testimonies of like what God is doing and what He is doing and still doing in my life.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and I think I feel like a question that always comes to mind, in terms of, you pray that God will give you influence, which I feel like is something that people usually don't pray for because it's like they don't want that because in case it does happen, then it's like, it's going to be a lot. But you did pray for that, and, God has connected you and brought you here, and you're doing different things. So, so obviously, He's answered that prayer, and as He will continue, which I'm sure you'll be able to share with us. But how do you, as a person, kind of keep yourself grounded in light of, just people knowing you, recognize you? Because it's something where I feel like by human nature, it feeds into this ego that's inside of us, even though we pretend like, no, oh my gosh, I do this for the Lord, whatever. But it's still something that can creep in if you don't control it.
Yeah.
It can it's kind of like that. Not that people worship you, but they can kind of put you on this pedestal that feels good, and then you're Jake, but you see people, you're like, man, I'm kind of better than these people type of deal because I'm known. Like, how do you kind of fight against those thoughts, that feeling, and everything else?
Yeah, I mean, I think what's really interesting is that I'm actually and it always kind of baffles me because I actually don't have like the 100,000 followers or anything like that. And so God is actually He's humbled me every single time. I'm hitting we're hitting videos that get 1 million views, but it never comes to me. Maybe a lot of people have seen me, but it actually doesn't it's not actually something I'm able to actually go off of. Yeah. And I'm like, God, I want to use this, or you want to use this. And so I think one thing to actually just share with everybody is you don't need the 500,000 followers. You don't need the 1 million followers. Literally just be an influence where you are. And also, honestly, it's sometimes that influence doesn't actually have to be on what social media is and stuff like that. What I've been able to do, which has been really awesome, is there's just a church that I go to. It's called House Church. And so it's all these different creatives, even Montel, even attended one time. And so, so there's all these creatives and stuff. And so what's been really awesome is the Lord told me to serve this church. And so I kind of just see it as I'm able to influence the influencers, maybe at some point God wants to make me an influencer, but it's really interesting because that's something I've wanted. I feel like my whole entire life was to be an influencer. The funny thing is God hasn't given that to me with being the followers or whatever like that. And what I feel like in those moments, I think that I just kind of embraced it. I'm like, God, whatever you have for me, like, cool. And then also also being friends with people who are these influencers, I understand that it's actually a responsibility. And so what's amazing is like God is really kind of sharing that with me of like, this is a responsibility. And so I'm kind of like, thanks, Lord, for not giving me these 100,000 followers or whatever like that, because I mean, like, I'm able to do what I need to do and not be like, have all of the different like stuff or the extra problems that come with it, So yeah, I've just been able to influence the influencers, So that's awesome.
And it's crazy because obviously it might not be your verbatim prayer, but in how you worded it here is just saying, Lord, I would like influence.
Yeah.
Not saying I would like massive influence.
Yeah.
Not saying the particular vein of influence, but in it, you asking the Lord, hey, give me influence. But in that is like, help me to be obedient in the lane of influence you want to give me, but also with the level that he wants to give you at different levels of time.
Yeah.
And that is something that, to your knowledge or not, would have been ingrained in those prayers. And it's something that the Lord was able to continue to give you the humility that would benefit you and give you the pace of journey that was to benefit you as well. Because I'm sure if it would have been like right off the bat, hundreds of thousands or millions,
I mean, you don't even
know where it would have gone.
Yeah, like for instance, like I said, that one video is getting at like 10 million and it's not even coming to me. And I'm like, oh my God, what's going on here? Like it's not even affecting me. And still, it still feels so weird. So I think definitely understanding that like, yeah, there's, like I was saying, there's responsibility with all of that. And so, yeah, I mean, I start to think of like, imagine if I did have that like 2 years ago. I don't know, maybe, I don't know what it would have been like, but I don't think I would actually have been ready because I would say recently I've been able, like I was saying, to kind of see the harvest of all the different prayers that I've been praying. And so seeing all of it come at once in this 1 week, honestly, has been really overwhelming. And so I start to think of like, wow, God, like, that's why you didn't want to give it to me. Because the thing is, I would be distracted by that and not serving you. And I'm like, man. And of course, like, if we're not like, because the thing is, these things take your time. And it's like, but, it's like, imagine not being able to have that time to be able to like spend with God. And like those moments of when I'm able to like just be in the Word and being able to just journal with God and pray, man, those are just literally like crucial. Like it has to happen.
Yeah. Because there was, I think the one time, like you said, it wasn't even me, but it went a little bit famous, a little viral. I don't know what the video did in total, but so for my sister's wedding, she wanted to do like an entrance. So we spent months doing the dance and all these different things, and so we did the entrance at her wedding. Somebody recorded it, and they posted it on social media. And somehow one of those like big wedding things got a hold of the video and they posted it. And like the next day, it was like 240,000 views. So it was a lot. That was the next day.
Yeah.
And I remember, I was, oh man, I'm famous. I remember going on there and I was reading the comments and they were like, at that point, it was already thousands of comments, right? And so I'm reading the comments. I can't remember a single one that was good.
Oh,
no. They were good. They were good.
Oh.
I couldn't remember what anybody said. I just remember the single negative comment that I read where someone was like, they're not even that good anyways. That's the only thing I remember from the thousands of like, good responses that people had to that. You know? And so I think about that, like for me, like in a small way, like in that one moment, with that one day of kind of dealing with that. I guess like in the industry that God has placed you in and the influence that he's giving you, the opportunities that he's giving you. I think there's a lot of, I would imagine there's a lot of self, like, what's the word I'm looking
self-exalting.
for? Yeah, that could come, like if you don't check that.
Yeah,
and then the approval of men can also destroy you. Or disapproval, I should say. The disapproval of men can also destroy you. Yeah, approval and disapproval of men can destroy you the same way.
I got something actually to talk about that, which is interesting because you were talking about all the comments and something kind of came up. So It was really funny. And so sometimes also, I mean, this actually what you're talking, kind of making that point of sometimes I feel like when I'm talking to people and I say certain things of like literally what I'm doing, sometimes I actually like feel like I'm talking too much or like I'm like bragging or whatever like that. But it's like literally, that's just like literally what I'm doing, you know? But it feels so weird sometimes. Like I went back for like kind of Christmas and I was like, Jake, don't say any more. Like stop saying all this stuff. Cause it's just, I try to also take it, and pretty much what you were saying, I just try to take it and turn it into a testimony. So instead of being like, oh, it's all about me, it's like, no, it's like, I take it and just give it back to Jesus. You know, I'm like, I just try to just make it into a testimony. And so, but all right, this one's so funny. So I did, and this is going to be a little bit, what do they call it? They call it flexes or whatever like that. So I guess there's going to be a couple flexes flex. if there's name brands come out or whatever. But so I did.
Just no more Chipotle, please.
No, okay, we won't do that. But so I did a project for Spider-Man, I think Homecoming, and it was like it was a promo video. So it wasn't like a super big role, but the thing is, it was with Zach King, and so it was really funny because this video got out, and I guess like World Star shared it, and so I'm like, this is my first time ever being like, oh my God, what? Yeah. World Star? I never thought ever in my life I would be on a World Star video, you know? But the funny thing is, I started looking at the comments. And so the funny thing is so in Zach King, your expressions are supposed to be like more, you know, than any type of like, as an actor and stuff like that. And so I get to the comments and they're like, oh my God, this person is awful at acting. And so I'm like seeing all this stuff, and they're like all these, and it's what's worse is when you comment something, and then like you got like 100 or 300 people that like it, and you're like, dang it, like 300 people think I can't act. But the funny thing is, it was what happens is like God really does like humble me, and it's really great because I'm also somebody like if somebody says something bad about me, or if somebody comments something, I kind of have the urge to just have fun with it and kind of troll them, you know, because it's like, it's fun. It's kind of fun. And so this moment was really, really great because I was talking and I was like, they were like, yeah, this person, I can't believe you pay him to even act. And so I responded back and I was like, hey, I'm trying my best, man, with like a like laughing face. And then the person responded back and he goes, you know what, man? I'm sorry. Like, I'm over here, like, sitting on the couch, eating Cheetos, and, like, you're doing all this great stuff, dude. I'm so sorry. So I literally had the person apologize to me just because I just responded back in just a really nice, fun way. Because, yeah, there's just going to be all kinds of hate comments. But, like, I get all kinds of stuff, like, all kinds of things. Like, one time I remember, so I used to do assemblies in schools. And so we traveled around the United States, and we did it. And I remember one time a student, and I feel like this moment actually like really kind of humbled me the whole time and be like, all right, I can take this moment and I can just use this for all of my other moments. Because he told me right after the assembly, he goes, hey, did anyone tell you that you look like the caveman from Geico? And I was like, what? No one's ever told me that. Wow. And so you get so self-conscious and stuff. But it was really great because like over time, I just started to be like, whatever, you know? Like there's certain moments where like I'm doing like I'm modeling for a certain project and like they're doing like, you know, they're getting the shots and stuff. And I look at the picture and I'm like, I don't even like that. I don't like the way I look in that. But now what I do is like, I'm like, oh, you got the shot? You got it? All right, cool. We're good, you know? And so, yeah, like I try to be like, yeah, like whatever. Because it's really funny because I think even in the beginning one time it was like when people would do like photos, you're just taking photos, just regular photos with friends. You know, sometimes you're super picky. And so like now I'm not even picky. I'm like, oh, you like it? Like it probably the worst photo of me. I'm like, it's good. Yeah. You know, like whatever. So.
Hey. Well, so Josue went to the negative side of comments and things like that. But going to the positive side.
Positive comments.
It brings up the question, and if it brings up any stories, feel free, but the question of whenever there's so many people saying positive things about you and giving you praise, it can be difficult to be humble and stay pure at that time. And I'm glad, honestly, that we went, and this wasn't even planned. I'm glad that we went in this order because I do feel like, because as you were talking, that people who are in creative industries or in modeling, I feel like they do get asked a lot, especially if they're Christians, like, oh, how do you stay humble? How do you stay humble? Where it's like that gets drilled into your mind. It's where you actually don't get to talk about the part of how do you stay in your identity and how do you stay positive in things. So I'm glad you're able to talk about that in the light of negative comments. But now getting to this side, like how do you stay humble and in your identity in that way that could be difficult potentially?
Yeah, I think so. One thing that I've started to realize just in the industry is like there's moments where you're up, there's moments you're down. And so I kind of just see certain like comments or whatever like that. I just kind of see it as hype. Like in my head, I'm always like, this is just hype. Like it probably might die down at a certain point and come back up at a certain point. Because there's certain moments where like, you know, so I did a project for like Snapchat. It was called Phone Swap. And it just got so much attention. And so many people were trying to text me. So many people messaged me. But then like next year, things aren't going that great, you know. I'm not really on reality. I'm not on reality TV this year or something like that, and they're not talking to me, you know. And so I had to be very like, I had to understand like my true identity, which of course is in Christ. And so I try to just kind of see it as like my identity is not, you know, what I do. My identity is, of course, in Christ, and so I find myself being so at peace when I'm just reading the scriptures and like journaling whatever the Lord's trying to like share with me. Like that right there is like where I find my true identity. And so, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, there is, I think it was just kind of coming to mind as you mentioned, you know, both negative and, you know, the praise that may come. And you also mentioning being in the position where, you know, you're working at a church, serving the creatives. So what is your, I guess, your message, you know, to the creatives that are the people that are in these spaces that, you know, you're also a part of in a certain way, but God has placed you there specifically. You know, like how do you navigate through those relationships, whether that's just you standing by with them, you encouraging them, you being there for them? Like, what does that look like in terms of you serving the creatives?
Okay. Yeah, so it's really amazing because, like, I feel like God has definitely given me, like, that gift of just being able to love really well. And so God, it's really amazing how God will bring, like, just certain people of a lot of influence that God will just put right in front of me. And so what I try to do is I just try to, like, of course, just be there for them, pray for them. So I try to pray for them, like, every single week. So I have, like, a lot of different, like, creatives that I'll be praying for, and they pray for me too, which is cool. Can you kind of, I'm trying to figure out if I'm answering this question.
Yeah, no, you are. Because I was curious, like, in what capacity you were, you know, serving and being with the creative. So it seems like kind of like how you did with Chaz in terms of being someone that's able to love them,
Being a brother.
being a brother to them and things like that. So
I definitely think it's just more just like it's very just like close, you know, it's genuine. And that's the other thing too that I wanted to kind of share about is like whenever I'm on set, so that's kind of what I'm able to do is I pretty much go on set and people know like I'm on set and I'm loving them well and I'm sharing with them like what my faith is, you know? But which is great because I think there's certain moments where I feel like some people who like or who evangelize and everything like that, there's moments of them really wanting to just like, you know, just really, really preach. And so for me, it's like I've found that people are willing to even like talk to me even more. I actually have people that want to hear more about Jesus just being like asking me questions and that all happened just because I was just genuine. So I'll talk to them like, hey, like, I'm a man of faith and this and this and this. And I'm seriously, like I would love to share my faith with you or whatever like that. But a lot of times I don't even have to ask. a lot of times what's amazing is because, they'll just ask me about it, and it's really cool. It's really cool what God does because, of course, like the Holy Spirit is just moves in so many different, so many ways, and it's just awesome how God just has people in front of you, God put you in different places, and you're like, this is amazing.
Yeah. Then does God like, in those moments where you're praying for a certain, maybe it's a campaign or praying for a certain thing that you want to be a part of, and then God is like, like he's just like closing doors, right? He's closing doors.
Closing doors.
Yeah, to certain campaigns you want to be a part of, or you're like, man, this would be a really great opportunity.
Yeah.
So God's like,
recent one was God closed a big door in relation to dating. That one didn't work. That didn't work out so well. God closed that door, and I was like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. How do you deal with those? Whenever a
closed
door
doors.
closes, work, relationship, like.
Yeah, there's a really cool quote. I love quotes. Sometimes God just really, I think, reveals quotes to me, which is great. One of the quotes is, what is it? Maybe God didn't give you the invitation because there was danger at the destination. And I always try to think about that. Understanding that, like, God is actually there for us and actually really has our best interest. And so there's so many things where, like, right when I first moved to Culver City, which is, so the thing is, I was in an area, I was in like kind of like OC area, but it was still like, it was called La Mirada, so it's by Biola. And I, like I said, lived in a garage and everything. And sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
Bro, you're good. You're good.
That's what I was trying to say.
But
I'm having so much fun.
No, you're good. Okay, so then let me ask, in terms of like, because I mean, I'm not too familiar with
I just
the
gotta say, I'm
industry.
so glad you're here, bro.
Yeah,
I just gotta say.
Yeah, like for me, not being too familiar with the industry, but because I was talking about closed doors, right? Not being too familiar with the industry.
We're back to okay.
Yeah, not being too familiar with the industry, but I would imagine it's very tough to get opportunities, because there's just a lot of competition. There's a lot of people that are here, and so the things that you do get is favor from God.
Correct.
Yeah. And like you're saying, it's like there's that danger on the other side. God didn't give you an invitation because you don't know. Because I remember one time I was, there was a job that I'd applied for, and I was really looking forward to it. It was going to have me move to Florida, close to headquarters for my old job. And, I was going to be making a lot more money. I was going to be in a different stage by myself, kind of just everything was going to be different than you, I really, really, really prayed about it. I felt like it was a yes. Everything was looking good. And then afterwards, after the interview, I ended up not getting the role. I was like, man, like, because I started telling people, hey, I'm leaving soon. Like I'm moving and all that.
He was like,
stuff.
I don't know how we're gonna keep doing this podcast.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm moving. I ain't gonna be here much longer. But it turns out, because you get over those type of things. I had another guy who I worked with.
Yeah.
He ended up taking that same role months later. And then, so he moved. So somebody else told me he moved. Some time goes by. Next thing I know, he's back in Texas again. I'm like, bro, what are you doing here? Like, you had that role, awesome. And he was like, man, that was the worst job ever. He was like, it was just so shady and all of these different things. As he's talking, it brought me back. Because I remember like, man, Lord, I thought you opened this door. And you can kind of be upset about those things but you get over it, But then I was so grateful because he protected me from that.
Yeah.
The same thing that the guy ended up having to go through, I didn't have to go through that.
Yeah.
And the Lord really protected me from that. And I was like, how does that look like in your space, in the space that you're in, where, God is shifting things and protecting you from things and now allowing certain things to kind of be open,
Yeah, one thing that happens in this industry is you get so many no's. So as you get so many closed doors, like, you just get used to it. Like, truthfully, you get used to it. I get so many no's. It's insane. You get so many no's to just get, like, a couple yeses, but it's all worth it. So you definitely get thick skin, even to the point where I'll do an audition and I'll, like, literally forget about it. Like, Because the thing is, like, you know, you do an audition, you want to get it, but like, I'm so happy that I'm able to do it and then just forget about it completely. Because it's like, you might get it, you might not, you know, but you get so many no's. It's insane.
Yeah.
And so you just get, like I was saying, you just kind of get used to it. And just also like being able to see that God has like what's best for you.
Right.
So.
Real quick, because we did this in his podcast, dude. Chaz, come here. What would be
What up, bruh?
What would be your one thing of encouragement or gratitude that you'd like to share for Jake,
An encouragement for Jake?
or just gratitude for him? Like whatever comes to mind, whatever message you would want to give him.
Let me see. This dude Jake loves and cares for people so deeply. He's an extremely selfless and sacrificial person who, like he when he says he'll like that, if you need something, I got you, or he'll do something for you, he really means it. Like there are a lot of people who just say that, and then it either don't mean it, or they'll say that, and then there's a couple things that'll be like, I don't know about that. Jake will literally do anything for anybody. If he says that to you, you can trust it. Mm-hmm. So it's a great man of integrity.
Yeah, he's the best.
Remember that one time when I had an audition and Chaz sent me a thing to go to the SpongeBob, was it 40-year celebration of SpongeBob?
Yeah, there was
and
like a SpongeBob pop-up, not 40 years.
Of 30 years?
That'd go
I don't know what it
I
is.
think it was 20, but it was a special pop-up for SpongeBob, and Tom Kenny was there, along with the voice of Patrick. I forgot who he was. And I invited Jake to it. He was like, no, I can't, because I got something that I said I was going to go to. I'm like,
It was an audition. It was like, it was for like I think like $3,000.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind. But, I mean.
And then I was like, bro, you know what? I'm going.
Wow.
It was worth it, though. I got a nice TikTok with him.
Yeah, we got it. That was cool. Bro.
He actually pushed me to do that because I didn't want to do it. I was like, oh, no, I'm fine. He's like, bro, go talk to SpongeBob. What are you talking about? I'm like, all right, fine. And it was cool.
And we got it. Yeah, we got it. And get a TikTok off of it. So.
Yeah.
There we
Pretty
go.
cool.
Yeah. But yeah, we wanted to give you the opportunity to share because we brought Alex up, in your podcast when we were out here as a guest. Well, he asked a question, not really a comment, but wanted to give you the opportunity. Or do you have any questions for Jake? Hopefully it's not what is your flavor of women, like Alex's question was. That is still one of the most funny questions on this podcast
What is
ever.
your flavor of women? Wow.
I mean, he already knows my type. So.
I still cannot believe Alex did that.
A question for Jake. What's something you really want to accomplish or to happen to you by this time next year?
I would definitely say that I think I want to be in a different environment, but like a higher, like kind of like as I'm like doing modeling and things like that, I want to be able to be in a different environment so I can be in that, I guess, an environment more people, more influence, and be able to like love them and stuff like that too. And it's also just kind of like also to challenge myself as well. There's certain moments it's constantly I'm constantly getting uncomfortable every single time. And so I'm probably going to go through another uncomfortable situation, but I would just love to just grow more in the craft that God has like placed in front of me.
Yeah.
So I think that, but also I think right now it's like God has like surprised me with so many different things. Like I may be on a song, maybe.
Ooh.
But the thing is, so Chaz always said I could sing, which is crazy. And
Been playing around.
Yes, you can.
so
Yes, you can.
yeah, but so yeah, just all kinds of like, I think just being able to just let God just kind of do what God does, because just when you're even talking about closed doors and stuff like that, like even when I was in like Tennessee, like there's so many things I'm like, all right, God, I want to do this, and it just constant just closed doors, and but yeah, I just kind of got used to honestly just getting the door closed on me, and then I'm just like, all right, you're used to it, let's keep on going, you know? You just get calloused, but it's good callous because you're like, all right, God, you got me.
You mentioned you're going to be on a song.
Yeah.
Josue.
Yeah,
I never know how to say even. Oh wait.
Josue.
What's up?
No, let's talk about something. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When you gonna drop this mixtape, bro?
You in
Mixtape.
Austin? Let's go.
Hold on.
Yeah, you can play. Yeah.
Play real quick. Hold on now.
I think you were saying.
Yeah, I'm working on my.
Hopefully he hasn't copyrighted this thing already.
Oh man.
I'm working on my bars. Just give me some time.
Go give it a snippet.
Give me some time. Yeah.
Cass is back there just like, what the heck is going on right now?
Yeah.
Where is it?
Yeah.
Hold on. I need to.
Oh, you got it, bro.
Find this track. Give me like 3 seconds. You can
Are you coming in to eat after too? Maybe. Okay.
There we go.
Here we go.
Is it?
I kind of want to get a slice at Prince Street and
Is it
then
gonna
go to
be
this
like
dinner place.
I got it.
Is it like? Oh.
Here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. This is snippet.
1, 2, 3, 4, I'ma drop bars. I've been in this house since 2014. I'm still here. I'm with my boy Austin. Yeah, Mr. Cochran. He from Austin. His name is Austin. But he ain't like me. Yeah, he kinda tall. But he likes white girls. That's a different story. And we go in. Anyways, I'ma spit my bars into Congo.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm trying to. Hey, give me some time. Give me some time to work on it. You know what I'm saying?
You just
Getting a little bit of
workshopping right now?
Yeah, I'm in the booth right now. I'm in the booth, so just give me a little time to kind of write it out, and then we'll see what comes from there.
Oh my gosh. But that's amazing. We appreciate you, bro.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
All right. Well, to start to
I
land.
just realized I just gave one of a white smirk. Where like they go.
Oh yeah.
Chaz, get over here. Did you see that?
They do that all the time. Like,
Chaz, you see my white smirk with the.
Bro.
It's I don't know. It's just
It
a
happens
part
all
of.
the
It's a
time.
part of. I don't
It's
know.
like when you're at
Do you-
work.
do you- I don't know. It's
when
like
you're at
something-
work and you see them coming and you smile and you're just like, I'm like, come on, man.
I don't know. It's just I don't know. I don't know. I've gotten better.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, we only have a little bit of time left. We want to honor
course.
people who have this.
Of course, I was late, so.
But no, you weren't late. It's been a busy day. But to start to land the plane, something which I didn't really know too much about until you mentioned it before you started recording, but being a missionary in Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas.
What the heck was that like? Like, what was that like?
Yes, there's a missions organization called PAYS. So it's based in it's actually based in Dallas, actually.
Okay.
And so it's all around the world. And so what they do is they plug the missionaries into churches. And so they would pretty much we would be there to like serve the schools, serve just the communities. And it was really cool. I was able to like mentor just a lot of different kids in schools. We were able to like help out in like the cafeterias and things like that. And so essentially it's just being there to, just be able to, like essentially I'd be a missionary towards Dallas and whatever needs I guess Dallas had. But it was interesting. There was like people from Germany. There was Germany, Brazil, and things like that. So. Yeah, which is crazy because actually that's how my car got totaled. So my car got totaled. I didn't even tell you guys the story, but like even before like everything was going on, I was dating this girl and we're long distance and I know her, she breaks up with me. My car gets totaled and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. I'm a country song, And and then out of nowhere, I was like, I don't know where I'm supposed to go. And I just came to visit California.
Dang,
I literally had nowhere else. I was like, I have no idea where else I needed to go. And so I was like, I just know I need to visit California. So I guess a really good message too is just understanding that sometimes all you gotta do is just take that step, Sometimes it doesn't have to be this big thing. Just be like, all right, I just need to do this. And that's kind of what I did. I was like, all right, I just need to come and visit. And then God just kind of just did the rest. One thing I do want to mention, which is really cool, is I think as just like believers and stuff, I think it's important for us to like just serve. And I feel like a lot of what I was able to do in my life is just serving. And so I always tell everyone, which is true, my first gig was actually serving the actors. And so it went from me serving the actors, then to me putting me in a background role. And then then they realized the guy who's in the principal role didn't even show up. And so he was like, hey, man, like, the guy didn't show up. You look like a Viking, so we'll put you in. And so I was like, oh, shoot. So I went from, like, literally feeding the actors to literally being a principal in, like, this, like, short film type thing. But then met so many people in those areas, and then I was able to do a Chick-fil-A commercial through them and all kinds of stuff. So it's like, that's one thing I want to get, I guess, to everyone who's listening, is that serve. God will do so much just with you having just a servant heart. Like, I can't even explain how much, like, because it's really interesting how I was talking about how, like, I wanted to be an influencer my whole entire life, and I'm like thinking I have to do all this and this and this. But what actually, like, what brought me out here? How did all this stuff happen? Was prayer. It all started with prayer. And it's like sometimes we don't think. Sorry, my phone.
No, you good.
Sometimes we don't. Let me get back to. But yeah, so it all started with prayer, and sometimes we don't think like those small things that we can do is actually going to make an impact. But like, it was the biggest thing I feel like that I've ever done. Like it created every single opportunity I have right now. Praying for that man, Chaz Smith. Amazing guy.
Dang,
So, yeah.
man. Dang. Any last things?
Man, no, thanks for coming on and sharing.
You gonna drop more bars?
Nah, that's for
Drop
later. Y'all gonna pay me for that.
bars.
I'm gonna charge Perspective Podcast for the.
We can go eat.
Yeah. But no, thanks for taking the time and really sharing. I think you guys are in such a unique space that a lot of people don't really understand.
Yeah.
And so it's always good to be able to just to hear feedback and understand how God is using you guys, placing you guys, and moving in different areas, you know, which is great. So I really appreciate you really
Yeah,
sharing
thank you,
that
good.
with
Yeah,
us.
thank you for having me. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Love you, bros.
Yeah.
Love you too, man. Excited for you.
Yeah.
And I think something to honor you too that probably haven't really even thought of is for hungry artists, I think that you and PB and Chris are the three probably most instrumental people in having it be a thing now. You don't realize it, but I know Chaz had told us that whenever we were coming out in February 2 years ago to record, that he was thinking about, nah, but like you were the one to kind of encourage, like, like, I don't know, like maybe look into this, like do it.
I didn't think about that.
And if it wasn't for us meeting y'all
Yeah.
on that trip, like Chaz, Montel, Dante,
Yeah.
Austin wouldn't have been come to Texas and been able to stay for a while for Chris's wedding,
Yeah.
and then be able to have the time for basketball and like hungry artists and like everything that started up
Yeah.
the group. And so if it wasn't for your heart to be a good friend, listen to the Lord, encourage, all of that, like it might not be a thing
Yeah.
in the way it is
Wow.
right now, man. So
It's crazy what God will do, you know.
I want to honor you in that.
Thanks, guys.
I haven't been able to tell you that, but
Yeah.
yeah. And I'm excited for everything that's going to be going on over these next
me
couple
too,
years,
man.
bro.
That's crazy.
And whenever you want to come back to Texas, let us know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Let us know, man. But yeah, y'all, that'll be a wrap for us today. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We'll be putting all of Jake's information in the description below. If you want to go check him out, support him, add another view to his 10 million, that'd be great. All of our information will be in the description below as well if you want to support us, the podcast, the outreach is everything we're doing. And so until next time, much love. God bless.